People keep saying I took something. That's the word that stuck. Took. Like I walked into a store and slipped something into my bag when no one was looking. Like there was a rule I broke that everyone else understood but me. It wasn't like that. It was a kid's birthday party in my mom's living room, for God's sake. Balloons taped too low so they kept brushing people's heads. Cake sweating under the AC that never worked right. Kids running in loops until someone cried or knocked over a drink. You know how those things go. Nothing sacred about it. Nothing worth turning into a family crisis. And yeah, there was a camera. A small one. Silver. One of those beginner models with the rubber grip on the side, so it doesn't slip out of little hands. I remember because Olivia had pointed it out at Target a month before, pressed her face up to the glass like it was a puppy. She didn't ask for it outright. She's not like that, but I could tell. She has this way of holding on to things quietly, like she doesn't want to be a burden. That's something people don't get about my kid. They think she's spoiled because she's loud and she laughs big and she asks questions without waiting her turn. But she notices everything. What we can afford. What we can't. What I say no to and how I say it. I don't get the luxury of ignoring that. I've been piecing things together since I left Adam. 2 apartments in 3 years. A lease I almost didn't get because my credit took a hit after the divorce. A job that sounds better on paper than it feels when you're staring at your account balance on the 28th. I'm not drowning, but I'm not floating either. I'm treading water and calling it a plan. And in the middle of all that, there's my sister Rachel. She doesn't mean to do it, I don't think. But she has this way of standing still while the rest of us scramble. Stable job. Same house for years. Bills that get paid on time without that little jolt in your chest when you hit submit. She doesn't brag. That almost makes it worse. Because when someone doesn't say they're doing better than you, you start saying it for them. People act like she's been carrying us. That's the narrative now. That she was some silent provider, and we were all just lining up with our hands out. It wasn't like that. Families help each other. That's how I grew up. You don't keep score. You don't send invoices. If someone's short, you step in. If you've got a little extra, you pass it along. It evens out over time. At least that's what I believed. Mom needed help with the house after refinancing. I needed help with Olivia's daycare when things got tight. The phone plan, honestly, that was just easier bundled. Rachel set some things up. Automatic transfers, she said. Clean. Simple. She never complained. Not to me. So yeah, when people say I was using her, I don't know what they expect me to say. She offered. She kept offering. Years of it. You don't just flip a switch one day and act like it was all a burden. If it was, why didn't she say something? That's the part that keeps getting skipped over. Instead, everything blew up over a birthday gift. Sophie's birthday. 8 years old. Sweet kid, I guess. Quiet. Hard to read. The kind of child who sits where you put her and says thank you no matter what she gets. People call that easy. I've never been sure if that's a good thing. Rachel adores her. You can see it in the way she watches her, like she's always checking if the world is treating her right. I get it. Single mom, no dad in the picture. Of course she's protective. I'd be the same. But sometimes it feels like everything bends around that kid. Like the rest of us are supposed to adjust our tone, our expectations, the way we speak just so nothing ever lands wrong. And I try. I really do. I just don't think every little thing has to be treated like it's fragile. That day, the gifts were piled up in front of Sophie like a small mountain. Wrapping paper in every color, bows that were already coming loose, cards slipping off the sides. Kids crowded around, half watching, half waiting for cake. Olivia sat next to me on the couch, knees tucked under her, watching the pile. Don't stare, I whispered. I'm not, she said, but her eyes didn't move. I followed her gaze. That's when I saw the box. Teal paper. Big bow. Clean edges like someone took their time wrapping it. There was a card on top, and I caught my name on it, mine and Olivia's. I frowned. I didn't. I started then stopped. I hadn't bought that. For a second, I thought maybe Mom had put my name on something. She does that sometimes, says it's easier than writing 5 different tags. But the way it was wrapped, it didn't look like her. Sophie picked it up carefully, like it might fall apart if she moved too fast. Olivia leaned forward just a little. I could feel it in her body. That quiet pull. That recognition. I knew what was inside before it was even opened. And something in me tightened. I told myself it was nothing. Just a gift. Just a moment. Let it go. But then I thought about Olivia pressing her face to that glass at Target. About the way she'd shrugged it off when I said maybe later. About all the maybes that never turned into anything. And I looked at my sister across the room, steady, composed, watching her daughter like the whole day had been built just for her. I don't remember deciding. I just remember standing up. Here, I said, stepping forward, reaching for the ribbon before Sophie could pull it loose. Let me help. The room barely noticed. To them, it probably looked like nothing. To me, it felt like correcting something that hadn't been said out loud yet. I slid a finger under the bow and pulled. The paper gave way with a soft tear. And for a second, just a second, I hesitated, my hand still on the box, as if something in me wanted to stop. Then I lifted the lid. The camera sat in the box like it already knew it didn't belong where it landed. Clean. Untouched. That kind of shine you don't see in our place unless it's brand new or borrowed. Olivia leaned in closer beside me, just enough that her shoulder brushed my arm. She didn't say anything. She didn't have to. I could feel it. That quiet pull again. Sophie hovered there, fingers at the edge of the wrapping paper, waiting for someone to tell her it was okay to go ahead. She always waits. For permission, for a cue, for someone else to move first. I've never known what to do with kids like that. Let me, I said, already halfway in. I slid the card off the top, barely glancing at it this time, and tugged the ribbon loose. The bow came apart in my hand. Paper tore down the side with that soft, ripping sound that usually gets a few laughs. No one laughed. Not yet. I opened the box and tilted it up just enough so the light hit the lens. Wow, someone said from behind me. I smiled automatically. It felt like the right response. The expected one. But all I could think about was Olivia. I didn't look at her right away. I knew if I did, I'd see it written all over her face. Want hope? That quick calculation kids make when they're trying to figure out if something might still somehow end up theirs. I kept my eyes on the camera. She won't even know what to do with this. I said, light, almost joking. The words came out easier than I expected. I heard a few soft chuckles. Enough to make it feel normal. I turned, finally, and held the camera out slightly. Not directly to Olivia, not at first. Just angled it, like I was showing the room. Give it to Liv, I added, like it was the most obvious solution in the world. Olivia's head snapped up. Can I? She said, already half out of her seat. I glanced at Mom. That was the part that mattered. It always had. If Mom said no, I would have backed off. Maybe. Probably. She didn't even hesitate. Just nodded once, like she was settling something small and insignificant. She has better taste, Mom said, reaching for the cake knife again. That was it. That was all the permission I needed. I lowered the box into Olivia's hands. She grabbed it quick, like it might disappear if she didn't. Her fingers slid over the grip, testing the weight. Careful, I said, softer now, leaning in. Don't drop it. She grinned, already clicking buttons, already lost in it. Around us, the room loosened again. Someone turned the music back up. A kid knocked over a cup and started crying. Mom called out for napkins. Normal. That's what it felt like. Normal. I didn't look at Sophie right away. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't need to. Maybe because I already knew what I'd see. When I finally did, she wasn't crying. That almost made it worse. Her hands had dropped back into her lap. The paper sat open in front of her, empty now, like something had been taken out too soon. She was looking down at it, not at me, not at Olivia. Just at the space where the camera had been. Her mouth moved a little, like she was about to say something, then didn't. Kids forget, I told myself. They bounce back. They get distracted. It's not like she'd picked it out herself. It's not like. She's fine, Mom said somewhere to my right, as if she'd read the thought before I could finish it. I nodded, quick, like I agreed. Because I did. I had to. Rachel was standing by the table now, knife in hand, cutting into the cake. Pink frosting smeared along the edge where it didn't slice clean. Her face didn't give anything away. "Cake," she said like nothing had happened. Sophie looked up at her, nodded once, and reached for the next gift. Just like that. "See? Fine." I exhaled slowly, tension slipping out of my shoulders. I'd made it bigger in my head than it was. That's what I told myself. Olivia ran past me, camera already up to her face. "Mom, look," she said, snapping a picture of the cousins piled on the floor. The flash went off too bright. A few kids groaned. "Turn that off," someone said. She laughed and tried again. I watched her move through the room, weaving between people, pointing the camera at everything. Shoes, cake, the dog, the window. Like she'd been waiting for something like this and finally got it. And I thought, this is right. This makes sense. Not wasted. Not sitting on a shelf. Not handed to a kid who'd leave it in a drawer and forget about it. I picked up a stack of paper plates and started passing them around. "Here," I said to Sophie when I reached her, setting one down in front of her. She looked up at me then. Just for a second. Her eyes weren't wet. They weren't angry either. Just still. Like she'd closed something off and tucked it away where no one could reach it. "Thanks," she said. Polite. Easy. I smiled back, a little too fast. "Chocolate or vanilla?" I asked. "Chocolate," she said. "Of course." I turned away before the answer could settle into anything else. Behind me, Olivia laughed again, the sound sharp and bright, cutting clean through the room. I focused on the cake. On the plates. On anything that kept me moving. Because if I stopped, if I stood still long enough to look at that empty box again, I wasn't sure I'd like what I saw sitting there. It didn't hit all at once. First, it was just a message. "Payment failed. Please update your method." I stared at it while the coffee machine hummed behind me, slow and steady, like nothing had changed. "Mom, can I take the camera today?" Olivia called from the hallway. "Yeah," I said, still looking at my phone. "Just don't lose it." She stepped into the kitchen, already wearing the strap across her shoulder. "I won't," she said, then paused. "It's kinda heavy." "It's supposed to be," I said. "Means it's real." She smiled and headed out. The door clicked shut. Another notification popped up. Card declined. That one didn't make sense. I opened my banking app, expecting to see something obvious. Low balance, wrong date, anything. Nothing. Same number. Same account. But when I tapped into details, something felt off. No secondary card. No shared access. Just my name. "That's weird," I muttered. My phone rang. "Mom." I picked up. "What did you do?" she said, voice tight. "I didn't do anything," I said. "What's going on?" "The phone cut off," she snapped. "For 10 minutes. 10. I had to call the pharmacy back like an idiot. I didn't touch the plan." "Well, someone did," she said. "And the bank says your sister canceled the payment." The word canceled landed harder than it should have. "No," I said. "She wouldn't." "She did." I leaned against the counter. For a second, the kitchen felt too quiet. "She didn't say anything?" I asked. "No," Mom said. "Megan, what happened yesterday?" "Nothing," I said quickly. "It was a birthday party. That's it." Mom didn't answer right away. "Then why did she pull everything?" she asked. "Everything. Camp. Phone. The house." I straightened up. "That's insane," I said. "She can't just cut people off like that." She just did. Another call came in. Camp. I ignored it. It rang again. "Answer it," Mom said. I pressed accept. "Hi, this is Little Pines," the woman said. "We're calling because today's payment didn't go through. We'll need an updated method before pickup." "Yeah," I said. "I'll handle it." "Great," she said. "We just don't want Olivia to be uncomfortable." I said, "I've got it." I cut in. Silence. "Okay," she said. "We'll see you later." I hung up. Mom was still there. "You need to call her," she said. "I am." I tapped Rachel's name. It rang. No answer. Again. Nothing. Of course she's not picking up, I said. What did you say to her? Mom asked again. Something in my chest shifted. I didn't. I started then stopped. The room from yesterday flickered back. The box. The ribbon. Sophie's hands pulling away. I pushed the thought down. It was nothing, I said. She's overreacting. Then fix it, Mom said. I grabbed my keys. I'll call her after I get Olivia. Megan. I said I'll call her. I hung up. The drive felt longer than usual. Every red light stretched. Every minute dragged. No calls. No texts. Just silence. When I pulled up, Olivia was sitting on the curb, camera in her lap. She stood when she saw me. You're late, she said. I know, I said. So? She climbed in and buckled up. You take pictures? I asked. Yeah, she said. A lot. She held it up. You wanna see? Later, I said. At home. She nodded. Then hesitated. Miss Paula asked if I'm coming tomorrow, she said. Of course you are, I said. The words came out fast. Too fast. She didn't question it. Just turned the camera over in her hands. Mom. Yeah. She didn't look at me. This was Sophie's, right? My fingers tightened on the wheel. The light turned green. Cars behind me honked. I didn't move. Why would you think that? I asked. She shrugged. I saw the card. A beat. It had her name. The honking got louder. I pressed the gas. The car jerked forward. It doesn't matter, I said. Too quick. Too sharp. Olivia went quiet. Okay, she said. She lifted the camera and pointed it out the window, snapping a picture of the street. I kept my eyes ahead. Didn't look at her. Didn't look at the reflection in the glass. Because for the first time since yesterday, the moment didn't feel clean anymore. Didn't feel obvious. It sat there, heavier than it should have. Like something that didn't belong to me. And I didn't know where to put it. I didn't wait for her to call back. By the time we got home, I'd already decided. Grab your bag, I told Olivia. We're going to Grandma's. She didn't ask why. Just nodded and followed me back out. The drive was shorter this time. Or maybe I just didn't notice it. Mom's house looked the same peeling paint near the porch, same wind chime that never lined up with the breeze. I knocked once, then opened the door without waiting. Mom, I called. In here, she said. She was at the table, phone in hand, glasses low on her nose. She looked up, relief flashing across her face for half a second before it tightened again. Did you talk to her? She asked. Not yet, I said. Where is she? Mom hesitated. At home, she said. I think. Good. I turned back toward the door. Megan, Mom said sharper now. Don't go over there like this. Like what? Like you're about to start something. I let out a short laugh. She already started it. Mom opened her mouth then closed it. Just talk, she said. I will. Olivia shifted beside me, quiet, watching both of us. Stay here, I told her. I can come. Stay, I said softer this time. She nodded. I left before Mom could say anything else. Rachel's place was 10 minutes away. Same street. Same neat row of houses. Lawns trimmed like someone cared about how things looked from the outside. I parked at the curb. Sat there for a second. Then got out. I knocked. No answer. I knocked again, harder. The door opened. Rachel stood there, one hand still on the handle, like she hadn't planned on letting it swing wide. Hey, she said. Just that. No surprise. No apology. Are you serious right now? I said. Her eyes didn't change. I was expecting you, she said. Of course she was. Then you know why I'm here. Ido. Good, I said. Turn everything back on. Straight to it. No point circling. She leaned against the doorframe. No, she said. Just like that. I blinked. What do you mean no? I mean I'm not putting the payments back. I stepped closer. You can't just cut people off without warning. I just did. The words landed clean. Too clean. This isn't just about you, I said. There are other people involved. I know. Then act like it. I am. I let out a breath sharp. Olivia's camp, I said. They're going to pull her if I don't fix it. That's your responsibility. That's always been shared. Not anymore. Ich zerrte her. Trying to find something, anything, in her face that looked like the Rachel I knew. Nothing. You're punishing a kid, I said. Her jaw tightened just a little. No, she said. I'm not. Then what do you call it? She didn't answer right away. Just looked at me. Steady. You took something from mine, she said finally. The word hung there. Took. I almost laughed. You're still on that. I said. It was a gift. It had her name on it. She wouldn't have used it. You don't get to decide that. I didn't take it from me, I said, my voice rising. I gave it to Olivia. She actually. I saw what you did. That cut through it. Flat. Final. For a second, neither of us moved. Then I shook my head. You're blowing this way out of proportion, I said. Over a camera. Her expression didn't shift. It's not about the camera. Then what is it? She stepped back. Not far. Just enough. It's about my kid sitting there while everyone laughed and let it happen. No one laughed, I wanted to say. That's not how it happened. But the words stuck. Because I remembered the room. The sound. The way it had smoothed over too quickly. You're twisting it, I said instead. I'm done explaining it, she said. The door creaked as she adjusted her grip. Give me the key, she added. I blinked. What? The spare, she said. I want it back. For a second, I just stared at her. You're serious? Yes. I let out a short, sharp breath. You're really choosing this, I said. I'm choosing her. Simple. Clean. Like she'd been waiting to say it. Something in my chest tightened. That's not what this is, I said. You're choosing to cut your family off. I'm choosing to stop paying for one that doesn't include her. The words hit harder than I expected. I reached into my bag, fingers brushing past my wallet, my keys, the receipts I hadn't thrown out yet. I found it. The spare key. Cold metal. I held it up for a second, then dropped it into her hand. It made a small sound. Too small for what it meant. There, I said. She nodded. Didn't soften. Okay, she said. That was it. No speech. No fight left. Just okay. I stepped back. Turned. Walked down the path without looking over my shoulder. The door clicked shut behind me. On the drive back, the road felt different. Same turns. Same lights. But something had shifted. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just off. I stopped at a red light and rested my hands on the wheel. For a second, I thought about the box. The empty one. Sitting in the middle of the floor. I pushed the thought away. The light turned green. I drove. The house felt too quiet when we got back. Not peaceful. Not calm. Just missing something. Olivia dropped her bag by the door and kicked off her shoes, one landing near the couch, the other halfway down the hall. Can I look at the pictures now? She asked. Yeah, I said. She sat cross-legged on the floor, camera in her lap, scrolling through what she'd taken. The small clicks filled the room, sharp, repetitive. I leaned against the counter, watching her without really looking. Here, she said, turning the screen toward me. This one's funny. A blurry shot of someone mid-laugh. A hand in front of the lens. A piece of cake smeared across a plate. Nice, I said. She smiled and kept going. There were a lot of them. Shoes. Tables. The dog. A window. Nothing special. Everything. She paused on one. It took me a second to understand what I was looking at. The floor. The pile of wrapping paper. And right in the center, the empty box. Olivia tilted her head. This one came out weird, she said. I stepped closer. The box looked smaller in the photo. Or maybe just exposed. Like something had been pulled out of it too soon. Delete that one, I said. Why? It's not a good picture. She frowned a little, then shrugged. Okay. She pressed a button. Gone. Just like that. I exhaled slow. That's better, I said. But it didn't feel better. Later that night, after she'd gone to bed, I sat on the couch with my phone. Mom had sent 3 messages. She's overreacting. Call me. We'll figure this out. I didn't reply. There was a post up already. Mine. I didn't remember typing it, but there it was. Funny how people change when money's involved. A few likes. A comment from my aunt. Family shouldn't keep score. I stared at that one longer than the rest. Then locked my phone. Set it face down. The apartment felt smaller without the noise. No calls. No messages. No one asking for anything. It should have felt easier. Lighter. Instead, it felt like something had been cut out clean, leaving space where I kept expecting to bump into it. I got up and walked to the kitchen. Opened the fridge. Closed it again. Nothing in there I actually wanted. On the counter, Olivia had left the camera. Strap tangled. Lens smudged with fingerprints. I picked it up. Turned it over in my hands. It was heavier than I remembered. I pressed the power button. The screen lit up. Photos flickered past. The dog. The cake. The window. I stopped. Scrolled back. There it was again. The empty box. She hadn't deleted it. Just moved past it. I stared at it longer this time. At the way the paper sat open. At the space in the middle. At the shape of something that used to be there. My thumb hovered over the delete button. I could fix it. Clean it up. Make it disappear for real. That's what I'd been doing all along, right? Taking something messy and smoothing it out until it looked like it made sense. My thumb didn't move. From the hallway, Olivia's voice half asleep. Mom. Yeah. A pause. You still there? I'm here. Okay. Silence again. I looked back at the screen. At the box. At the space. It doesn't matter, I said out loud. The words sounded thinner this time. Like they didn't hold as much weight. I set the camera down. Didn't delete the picture. Didn't fix it. Just left it there. And for the first time, I wasn't sure if that made me right. Or just quieter about being wrong.